All right, let's read our memory verse together, John 3:8. El viento de donde quiere sopla, y oyes su sonido, mas ni sabes de dónde viene, ni a dónde vaya. Así es todo aquel que es nacido del Espíritu. So this is probably the hardest one that we've had so far in John chapter 3. So let's read it again together as a class. El viento de donde quiere sopla, y oyes su sonido, mas ni sabes de dónde viene ni a dónde vaya. Así es todo aquel que es nacido del Espíritu. So el viento, that's the last word on your vocabulary list, the wind. De donde. What does de mean? From where? Exactly. Because it means of or from. So the wind from where. What does quiere mean? It's kind of a tough one. Okay, we're doing the whole chapter. Quiere basically is, you want to. Okay, open your Bible. Do you have your English Bible? Open it up to this verse, so that you can, this might help a little bit if you open it up and look at the verse in English. The word in English, I believe, is listed.
Yeah, the wind blows.
Right, listed, which is kind of an odd word, or an older word, for meaning to want. Okay. It's not a word that's used that many times in the Bible. But it says the wind blew with where it listed. Okay? So it's saying, el viento de donde quiere sopla y oyes su sonido. So the wind bloweth where it listed. Okay? Or where, kind of like where it wants to. Okay? But then it says, y oyes su sonido. Oyes, we're going to learn about that today. Look down in the grammar. See the yo oigo, tu oyes? It means thou hearest, or you hear. So he's saying, and you hear his sound. Because sonido means sound. Mas means but. We learned that a while back. Ni sabes de donde viene. That means you neither know from where it's coming, ni a donde vaya, or where it's going, or whither it goeth. Así es todo aquel que es nacido del Espíritu. Así means so, is, todo, all, or everyone, all of those, todo aquel. Just like todo aquel que naciere, whosoever. Que es nacido, that is born. Nacido means born. Del Espíritu, of the Spirit. Okay, so it's kind of a tough one today. Just, try to do the best you can with it, because we're doing the whole chapter, so that's why we're learning this verse, even though it's kind of tough. Let's go through our vocabulary list. We're going to learn 8 new verbs today. Some of them are irregular. We're going to talk about how to conjugate them, and then 2 nouns. But the first word on the list is viajar, which means to travel. Conducir, which means to drive. Traducir, which means to translate. Oír means to hear. Encender means to turn on or to light. Apagar means to turn off. Despertar means to wake up. Mirar means to watch. And el sonido is the sound, and el viento is the wind. Now, let me give you some ways to memorize these. Conducir, think of like a train conductor. Okay, right, is driving the train. Conducir. Traducir is translate. Okay, it's kind of a similar word. Oír, think of your ear, right? Encender, think of incendiary ammunition. Turn that off, son. Bullets that actually get really hot and light things on fire are called incendiary rounds. Can somebody think of another word that has to do with encender, about lighting something on fire? Because it means to light something on fire, or it means to turn something on. It can mean either one. Most often you're going to be using it as, turning something on, like flipping on the switch, flipping on a device. But, anyone? Anyway, that's all I can think of is the incendiary ammunition, but I'm sure there's something else. And then apagar means to turn off. Despertar, to wake up. Mirar, think of looking in a mirror, right? Mirar means to watch. And so, el sonido, think of sonar, because it means the sound, and obviously sonar operates with sound. El viento kind of sounds like wind. Viento, wind. So that's the vocabulary list. Now all the ones that have stars next to them have something irregular about the way they're conjugated. And so we're going to explain how to conjugate those, and then the ones that don't have anything irregular, we're just going to use this as a review of how to conjugate verbs, okay? So let's start with our first word, viajar, which means to travel, okay? Now this is just a totally basic AR verb, piece of cake. So let's go ahead and write the word up here, viajar. And of course we're going to separate it into our stem and our ending, right? Then we're going to build our chart right here, which is the chart that we always use when we're conjugating verbs. This stands for singular, plural, first person, second person, third person. First person's me, second person's you, third person is him, someone else. Now, viajar, we're going to throw these different AR endings. What are the AR endings going to be? O, as, a, amos, and an. So in order to conjugate the verbs, we're basically just going to take our stem and then add these endings. So if we want to say I travel, what are we going to say? Because I is first person and there's only one of me, so that'd be singular. So I'm going to take my stem. How am I going to say I travel? Viajo. And remember, this is a diphthong, so it gets kind of run together into one syllable. Viajo. Okay? And then how am I going to say you travel? Viajas. He travels, or usted. Viaja. Now this one's a little bit tricky, okay? Somebody pronounce this right for me. It's, well, this is what your tendency is going to be. Because you're saying viajo, viajas, viaja. But it's viajamos. You know, you got to put the emphasis on the second to last. Okay, that's the trick on that one. Because your tendency is going to be to want to say viajamos. No, it's viajo, viajas, viaja, viajamos. You got to put the amos, viajamos. So what does viajamos mean? We travel, or we are traveling. Okay, and then how would I say they travel? Viajan. Okay? So that's just a basic AR verb. You just take your stem and you throw these basic endings on. Piece of cake, right? So, let's look at the next one here. Apagar is, we're going to go down to apagar because that's another just basic AR verb. And that means to turn off, like we're shutting something off, right? Apagar. So how am I going to say I'm turning it off? But get that accent right though, right? Apago, very good. Apago. What about you turn it off? Apagas. Apaga. How about we turn it off? Somebody pronounce it exactly right for me.
Apagamos.
Brad, you're wrong. What did you say?
Apagamos.
There we go. Apagamos. I wasn't trying to just punk you, but
That's cool.
because you said apagamos, and that's going to be what you're going to tend to do. You know what I mean? Because it's apago, apagas, apaga. You want to say apagamos, like you said, but it's apagamos. You know what I mean? It's kind of tricky. That's the whole thing. So it's apagamos, and then this one's going to be what? Apagan. So everybody's afraid to.
After that, bro.
No. Okay, so let's think about how would we use this in a sentence? Okay, here's a word that you're probably going to be familiar with. I believe it's a masculine word. I don't really know because I don't really use this word in a while, but I think it's el. Does anybody know? I'm pretty sure it's a masculine word. El televisor. Okay. What if I just want to say, hey, I'm going to turn off the TV. Like, let's say I'm at somebody's house, I'm trying to get the gospel, and Ricky Lake is just like blasting out of the TV. It's kind of distracting. How about, can I turn off the TV, or I'm going to go ahead and turn off the TV? Somebody help me make that sentence. Somebody want to give it a shot?
Puedo apagar.
Puedo, okay, so you want to say, can I turn off the TV? Okay. Puedo means can, right? can I, puedo yo, maybe you put the yo just to make sure that people know it's a question with the word order. Puedo yo, can I, apagar, we're just going to use the whole infinitive, right?
El televisor.
Because we only conjugate one verb per, you know, because this, we conjugated this. Puedo yo apagar el
Televisor.
televisor. Okay? So that's a useful word, apagar, to turn off. Okay? Now, if I just wanted to say I'm turning off the TV, what would this word become right here? Yeah. This is if I'm not asking permission, right? Just apago el televisor. Turn off the TV. Okay? Everybody got that? Now, let's do the other AR verb that's on here that's simple, and that's mirar, which means to watch. So again, we're gonna break it up into stem and ending. Mirar, okay? How am I gonna say I watch? Miro.
Miro.
Okay, Amanda, how am I gonna say you watch?
I forgot all of that.
Okay, you got your stem, right? They're all gonna start with a stem, right? They all start with the same stem. Okay, so what's gonna be my ending for you watch? Look at the chart.
I can't see it.
Can't see it? Do you wanna sit in the front row?
You need to write bigger.
Miras. Do I need to write bigger?
That would be helpful.
She's just lying. She can see it just fine. She's just freezing up under pressure. Just admit it. And then this is going to be
Mira.
he watches. Mira. Okay? Now, somebody pronounce this one correctly. Miramos, right? Miramos. And what about they watch?
Mira.
Not Miran. Mira. Yeah, you got it. You want to focus on that, you know what I mean? Because that's an easy way to pronounce things correctly, because, you know, if you get that accent right, it's sometimes a little tricky if you're not used to it, but mira. So this is how you conjugate the verb to watch. Now, let's get into some of these ones that have some irregularities. Let's actually start at the bottom with, we'll start with despertar, to wake up. Okay, now look at the very bottom and of our grammar. It says despertar has an E to IE stem change. Now this is a review on this one because we've actually done these before with the E to IE stem change. So let's go ahead and write out our verb right here. Despertar. Okay? And we divide the stem and the ending. Okay? But this one has a stem change where the E becomes an IE. So we take our basic stem right here, okay? And we're just going to change the E to an IE right here, boom. So instead of desper, it's going to be despiert, okay? So now let's go ahead and conjugate this. How am I going to say I'm waking up or I wake up?
Despierto.
Very good. Despierto. Okay, now here's a review from last week, telling the time. How can I say, I wake up at 6 in the morning? I'm going to start with despierto, right? Despierto. What's going to be my next word? No, son is when you're saying what time it is. Like, son las 6 would be at 6 o'clock. But if I want to say at a certain time, the word for at is a. Despierto a what? 6 o'clock in the morning. What am I going to say? Despierto a las, because you got to put the in. Despierto a las 6 de la mañana. Right? Despierto a las 6 de la mañana. Okay? Now, when we have a stem changing verb, in the first person singular here is despierto, and Whenever we're in the present tense, there's one of these that does not change. Does anybody remember which one it is?
It's
There's only one, like the stem change is going to be all of these. They're all going to have the same stem change. They're all going to have the despiert and then whatever ending, except one. What's the one that just stays the same? Never irregular. Pretty much every single verb, this one is almost always regular. The we form, okay? So this is the one that is not going to change. It's still going to be despertamos. So we're taking the original stem, despertamos. But these all get a stem change. Despierto. How about you wake up? Despiertas. Okay, he wakes up. Despierta. And then they wake up. Despiertan. Okay? Does everybody understand that? Alright. So, somebody say, we wake up at 6:30 in the morning. Somebody want to try that? A little bit of a tougher one.
Despiertamos.
Well, remember, no stem change in the, I tricked you because there's no stem change. Despertamos.
Las. 6.
And then we'll say 6:30.
O menos.
Despertamos a las 6:30
Media.
y media de la mañana. Okay? Very good. So now let's do the other one that has a stem change, which is encender. This is to turn something on or to light something. Like, you know, you're lighting a match, you're lighting a lamp, lighting a cigarette, you're turning on a light switch, turning on a light, whatever. Another stem change, but this is an ER verb. Now, these are our AR endings. What are our ER endings going to be? Exactly the same, except all the A's turn into E's, right? Piece of cake. So we basically just change this to Amos, Ain, A, and Ace. So, you know, not a big deal, right? Between the AR and the ER. Pretty much the same thing. So, let's go ahead and write our verb up here. Encender. Okay, well, never mind, I don't want to get into that. So let's go ahead and break this into the stem and the ending right there. Okay? But we have an E to IE stem change. Okay? So how am I going to write out my new stem? Encien. And then whatever ending, right? So, how do I say I'm turning it on? Enciendo. Okay? How would I say he's turning it on? Third person. Enciende. How would I say you're turning it on? Enciendes. Okay, and then remember this is the one that never changes, the we form. So we're going to start with our original stem. Somebody pronounce it exactly right. Encendemos. Okay? We are turning it on. And then they are turning it on would be what? Encienden. Okay? Everybody understand? So this is kind of a review of some of the things we've already covered. The AR verbs we've already covered. The ER verbs we've already covered. Stem change we've already covered. But this is a good review just to solidify it in your mind, and you're learning some new verbs that we haven't covered because we haven't covered any of these verbs yet. Now we're going to get into ones that are a little bit different than what we've done. Let's look at conducir, to drive. Okay? Now, conducir, obviously a commonly used word because we talk about driving the car quite a bit. Now, what are our IR endings? Because now we're on to IR verbs, okay? What are going to be our IR endings? What's going to change here? Because remember, from the AR to the ER, all the A's became E's, right? Well, guess what? When we're dealing with IR verbs, it's exactly the same as ER verbs, except this one right here is the only one that changes. Boom. Okay? So it's still going to be the ace, the O, ace, A, aim. It's just the emos is the only change. Got that? So pretty easy to, work with these. So, conducir, and another verb, traducir, which means to translate, they are both only irregular in the first person, singular. Just the I form, that's it. Look at your handout. It says conducir and traducir are only irregular in their first person singular forms. Okay? Now let's go ahead and conjugate conducir, to drive. Now let's skip the first person, but we'll come back to that. How would I say you drive? Because we're going to divide it, right? Into our stems and our ending, okay? Conduces. So we got conduces, you drive. Conduce, and then what's this one going to be? Conducimos. Conducen, okay? Now, you say, why is this irregular? Well, let's look at it. Now, there's our stem right there, okay? Because there's a rhyme and a reason to this, why it's irregular. Let's say we were to just put the O on. How would you pronounce that?
Conduco.
Conduco. You know, and we're talking about conducir. Conduces, conduce, conducimos, conducen. So conduco doesn't really fit. That's why they basically just add a Z to it, okay? So that it's conduce, so you still have that conduce, you know, of the conduces, conduce, condusco, okay? Does that make sense? It's kind of like another verb that we've done, conocer, which means to know. Conoces, conoce, conocemos, conocen. But in the first person, it's conozco, okay? Same general principle. Okay, so if I want to say I'm driving, conduzco. What if I wanted to emphasize the fact that it's me that's doing the driving? I'd say yo conduzco. Like for example, if I just wanted to say, you know, conduzco mi coche. I'm driving my car. But what if somebody was trying to say, well, you know, somebody's asking, who is driving? Yo conduzco. So when I want to emphasize that it's me doing it. Or if somebody says I want to drive, it's like, no, yo conduzco. Okay, no, I'm driving, right? So let's do traducir. Let's skip the first person at first, and how am I going to say you translate? Take my stem, throw the ending on, traduces. How would I say he translates? Traduce. We translate. Traducimos. That's where the emphasis is going to be on that I. And then traducen. So, again, in the first person, not going to be traduco. Doesn't sound right. So we're just going to throw in a Z. Extra. Traduzco. I translate. Does anybody have any questions about that? Does that make sense? Alright, and then we got one more, and this one's just totally irregular. Okay, but it's one that you're going to want to learn because of the fact that it's commonly used. And that is the verb oír, which means to hear. Very common, so you're going to want to know how to conjugate this. In the first person, and you're just going to have to kind of memorize this one, you know what I mean? Because it kind of follows a pattern, but not really that much. Oigo, I hear. Now there are a lot of Spanish verbs that pick up a G in the first person, like traigo, you remember that one? I bring, I carry. So we got oigo, and then oyes. Now this one is really just adding an Y, because, you know, it's using the same ending. Usually you would want to, you know, cut it like that, I guess, right? So we're really just adding a Y on these. Oyes, oye. Now why do you suppose we're adding that Y? Because if we didn't add the Y, this is what we would have. Right? It's not really much of a word. So that's why we're just throwing in a Y. So in this one we're throwing in a Y. This one we're throwing in a Y. This one we're throwing in an I and a G. Okay? So oigo, oyes, oye, and then pretty much the tried and the true, the one that's always very regular, the we form, oimos. Okay? That's the one that you never have to worry about because it never changes. Oimos. The only reason it has an accent is just so that we don't think it's a diphthong, just to give it its own sound. And then what would you guess this last one's going to be? Oyen, following the same pattern as these. So I hear, or I'm hearing, oigo, oyes, oye, oimos. They hear oyen. All right. Does anybody have any questions? So there's 8 verbs for you. A couple of them regular, a couple of them a little bit irregular. One of them is very irregular. All right. Let's just sing one verse only of our song as we go. We'll sing just one verse only of At the Cross. Herido triste a Jesús, mostrele mi dolor. Perdido errante vi su luz, bendíjome en su amor. En la cruz, do primero vi la luz, y las manchas de mi alma yo lavé. Fue ahí por fe, do vi a Jesús, y siempre feliz con él seré.